What's up, B.N.H family? Back again. And today, man, we got Larry the Legend making the case. In the comments, you guys, I saw a few people want me to react to this video, so you know what I'm saying, here it is. And I wanna thank all y'all for all the support, all the love y'all been giving me. You know, I'm at 149 subscribers. Man, that's an accomplishment right there. So we ain't gonna talk too much. Let's get right into it.
Special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity, flair, and athleticism. And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome of a game. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers and to the legends of the past in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport: who's the greatest to ever do it? For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer: their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but acknowledge one or two alternatives. But I believe that there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think. By my count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing though. I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for Larry Bird as the greatest basketball player of all time. When it comes to basketball, Larry Bird is the smartest, clutchest player to ever play the game. Now, if you don't think that Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player of all time, you probably hate that I just said that. Those are the kind of talking head sport cliches that surely impact the game but are impossible to empirically measure. Normally, I'd agree with you, but I think that when you talk about Larry Bird, you see those intangibles become real, palpable results. I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. When Larry Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1978, the NBA needed saving. Attendance was in the toilet, the league had few marketable stars, cocaine addiction had several players in its grasp, and most damning of all, playoff games were being tape delayed. Playoff games at the highest level of basketball were being put in the back seat for black and white movies and network reruns. But rather than join the Celtics after being taken 3rd overall, Larry Bird decided to return for his final year at Indiana State, a decision that would prove to be one of the most important in the history of the sport. Bird's final year saw the Sycamores tear through college basketball, going 33-0 before the national championship game. Bird, already claimed by the NBA's most historic and prestigious franchise, had established himself as the generational talent who would inherit the mantle of pro basketball.
See, a lot of people overlook that part about Bird. Just the fact, that he took a team called the Indiana Sycamores. I mean, did that team even exist anymore? I've never heard of the Indiana Sycamores. I mean, except Larry Bird. That's it. The fact that he took that team to a national championship tells you a lot about Bird right there, just how valuable and how great he is, because it's that I've never heard of that team. And let me know in the comments, do they even exist? Like I've never even seen them in the tournaments, like ever. Like, yeah, so that's just that right there that's something.
Indiana State's
even like Jordan with the North Carolina or something, that's a big college, but
in the national championship was Michigan State, captained by the immortal Irvin Magic Johnson. The Sycamores lost the championship to the more talented Spartans in the highest rated game in the history of basketball at any level still to this day. The stage had been set. The next decade of basketball would be defined by the rivalry between the white hick from French Lick and his Boston Celtics and the black Magic and his Showtime Lakers. The rivalry between Bird and Johnson is entwined into the fabric of the NBA and is worthy of 100 documentaries. In this video though, we're going to be looking at Bird's claim of supremacy. Here's Bird's basketball resume. His 3 championships come with perhaps the highest
3 championships, 3 regular season MVPs, 2 finals MVPs, 12 All-Star selections, 10 All-NBA teams, 9 first team. 1 second to
collective degree of difficulty of any player's championships. His 3 MVPs came consecutively, making him only the 3rd player to accomplish the feat, along with Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. His 2 finals MVPs are misleading. He was absolutely the best player on the '81 Celtics, but he was only a sophomore, and his 15 points per game in the finals gave the media an excuse to exact a little vengeance on a legendarily difficult interview. His All-Star and first-team selections also come with the caveat that Bird only played for 13 seasons and missed all but 6 games of the '89 season following surgeries on both feet. I can hear you already. A 13-year career, and this guy is supposed to be the GOAT? What color of paint are you huffing, Clayton? Green, obviously. But hear me out. Yeah, Bird's career lasted about 2/3 as long as it should have. But what he did in that time was so impressive and so substantial that every basketball fan acknowledges that he's in the conversation as the greatest ever. Doesn't it matter that those 13 years saved professional basketball, delivered a disproportionate amount of memorable moments, defined the golden age of the league, and produced a career by which all other forwards, before or since, are measured? Bird squeezed Larry Bird season.
Wait, let me mind that. 26 points, 1 block, 10 rebounds, 88 free throw. Oh yeah, he balling. 50 field goal percentage. 40 assists. Oh, 6.7.
What does an A+ Larry Bird season look like? A full box score, a blowout win, a nearly undefeated record at home, and a play style that could only be described one way: white. Larry Bird isn't just a white basketball player, he's the white basketball player. To describe Larry Bird's game is to thumb through the Hoops dictionary and pick out every
And look, I don't mean like to cut off, but and a lot of things, like I know a lot of people seem to forget about players like Larry Bird when they try to compare him to other players. Like okay, take a player like LeBron. You know, of course his stats are gonna be like through the roof. But look at his usage rate. LeBron handles the ball a lot. He takes it up the court. You know, he's in the post. He's the point guard. He's the shooting guard. He's the powerful. Larry Bird didn't hog the ball that much. You know, his usage rate wasn't even that high. So when you look at those numbers, it's even more amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like the 26 per game, the 7 assists, the 10 rebounds. Just the fact he's just doing that within the team, you know, playing as a team player says a lot. You know, that's even more goated. So just imagine if he was just like, you know, just hogging the ball like a Doncic or something, like just taking it up the court. Every pass got to be his pass. I mean, that dude would have averaged a triple-double easy. So a lot of people forget that, like, oh, well, he got, so that's why you can't go by like, oh, he averaged more assists. That's why it's more the eye test. Like when you like, I like to go by the eye test. Okay, this player, when he got the ball, he's doing this, you know, he looks like this. But when this player versus this player who's handling the ball like damn near 90% of the game, but he got a lot of good plays, but he's also making a lot of mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And he's taking away from his team. But anyway, let's get back into it.
About white players. Unathletic, great shooter, good fundamentals, the whole thing. The archetype of a white basketball player is Larry Bird, with one exception. He had an unparalleled player. Jerry West called him nearly as perfect as you can get. He was the league's first great marksman. He could contort his body to shoot from anywhere on the court, regardless of the level of defense. He pioneered the art of the dagger 3 and was the founding member of the 50-40-90 club. At 6'9", Bird's understanding of angles and coordination led to a higher rebounding average than Patrick Ewing, and it made him an impressively adept finisher in his younger years. In '86, Bird dropped 47 points on the Blazers, playing the majority of the game left-handed. His lack of quick lateral movement meant that Bird didn't do much when it came to slapping the floor and picking up the opposing point guard, but his size and omniscience gave him the ability to body similarly sized players, read defenses like a free safety, and pick off passing lanes with ease. His passing was transcendent, and I'll highlight it later. And of course, you need to know that Larry Bird was a tough effort.
Damn.
After this
Black
video,
eyes.
your life is never
vicious.
going to be the same.
It was vicious
so I
in
need
the
you
80s,
to stop
man.
whatever you're.
It was vicious in the 80s.
He had a superhuman motor and dove for loose balls like a beagle at the park. He was a willing participant in his share of fights, often precipitated by his league-renowned trash talk.
Larry Bird told Robert Reedy the other day that he should have stayed in preaching. That was funny. He had
Bird
50
wasn't
points.
I was guarding in my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, "You can't stop me." And I looked at him and I said, "Gosh, boy, you're so confident." He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
He was a basketball genius.
Larry,
He'd be a
man,
step
Larry was a
ahead,
savage.
a thought ahead. Played the game like a chess game.
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind.
If you put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Did you notice something during those testimonies? Those are some of the best basketball players of all time, and they all sing Bird's praises like they were former assassins who had to go toe-to-toe with John Wick and they're just happy to be alive. Bird excelled during one of the most talent-rich periods in league history. The abridged list of his basketball rivals goes like this: Dr. J and Moses Malone on the Philadelphia 76ers, Sidney Moncrief on the Milwaukee Bucks, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boy Pistons, Dominique Wilkins on the Atlanta Hawks, Bernard King on the New York Knicks, Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls, Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson on the Houston Rockets, and of course, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, there's no point avoiding it.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. The 80s to me, even though I'm a Jordan fan, a 90s dude, but I'm gonna keep it 100. I think the 80s was actually a tougher era. I think they had better teams in the 80s, man. Like the Lakers, the Celtics, the Pistons, the Rockets, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Hawks. Did I leave out any? It wasn't no slouch, and there was some like each team had like they was like super teams before they was calling them super teams.
Longer.
You know what I'm saying?
We have to look at Magic versus Larry. If you have Magic over Larry, it's because he has 5 rings to Larry's 3, had a peak that lasted about 2 or 3 years longer than Larry's, and had a 2-1 record against Bird's Celtics in the finals. Perfectly legitimate, completely respectable arguments. But in the interest of making Bird's case, allow me to retort. For nearly the entire decade of the 1980s, the Eastern Conference was irrefutably the more competitive conference between the two. Considering the competition, for Bird to have made 5 finals appearances is just as impressive as Magic's 9. As for the head-to-head record responsible for Magic's 2 extra titles, he had more help. Seriously, the Celtics' Big 3 and the Lakers' Big 3 get compared all the time historically as if they were of equal caliber, but weren't Magic's accomplices just a step above Bird's? No disrespect at all to...
Nah. I don't know. Kevin McHale was a beast. I can't even say, dog, Kevin McHale used to act, man. Kevin McHale was a beast, so I don't know. Was Worthy better than Kevin McHale? I don't know. But they did have the captain, Kareem, so, you know, Kareem is definitely better than
McHale and Robert Parrish. But Kareem was the alpha dog on the 71 Bucks and was the best player for at least 2 of the Lakers' 5 titles. James Worthy was the #1 pick out of UNC after winning a championship as the best player on a team that had Michael Jordan on it. Throw in the fact that Magic got to be coached by Pat Riley, one of the most brilliant minds in basketball history, and you could say that the Magic-Bird argument comes down to one thing: luck. So if their careers come down to luck, the question just becomes who you would rather take. The fact that his play would translate perfectly into the league today. A 6'9" sharpshooting forward with eyes in the back of his head who averaged double-digit rebounds in an era against Moses and Laimbeer. He'd gobble up boards as a power forward. He'd be an offensive mismatch against everybody as a small ball center, and his off-ball skills and passing would pair perfectly with the flow of today's game. Add in his competitive mania and 3 generations worth of medical advancements, and we're talking about a player who could have stuck around so long they would have had to rename the league. As you've been watching these clips of Bird, I would hope that you would notice something. He always knows where everybody is. Watching Bird play basketball is like watching those monsters from A Quiet Place that know where you are if you make any noise at all. Bird had a level of clairvoyance that bordered on the unnatural. In '85, he ended up one steal away from a quadruple-double after playing just the first 3 quarters. His passing was famously infectious and helped transform the Celtics of the '80s into an ideal that basketball teams at all levels are still shown tape of. They moved the ball with precision and intent, always looking for better shots and determined to get the entire team involved in the effort. That fact is almost entirely attributable to Bird and his wizardry with the...
Yeah.
Why are you not...
And you know, I was talking about that in the last video. You can't compare it because these guys, like I said, they actually practice. They're together for a period of time. You know, and these ain't like young players coming out of college. These dudes is coming out as like, you know, mature men, you know, and coming into the pros. So, you know, they taking that shit serious. And you know, but yeah, it's a different game.
It's
just a different game.
No, seriously, why are you not investing into one of the most incredible
with the ball? This acumen also helped Bird become the only player with a GOAT claim to transition successfully into other basketball roles after his playing career. In his 3 years as the head coach of the Pacers, Bird won a Coach of the Year award, coached the Pacers to their first and only finals appearance, and gave Michael Jordan as much trouble as he'd ever gotten in his career in the '98 Eastern Conference Finals. After moving into a front office role for Indiana, he won Executive of the Year in 2012, becoming the only person to have an MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year award. On the court or off of it, inside and out, Larry Bird sees basketball as only he can. That intelligence also lent itself to Bird's defining skill, making the big plays. Remember, NBA players get paid to win games. James Harden is getting paid nearly $40 million this year because he's supposed to help the Rockets win games. Victory can be achieved in a lot of ways, and the win column doesn't care how it happens. As Mark Sinclair once said,
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
but when your team is down 1 in a crucial playoff game with 8 seconds left, and you need to hit a shot to stay in the series and keep your season alive, that's where players really separate themselves and earn their money. Love it or hate it, it's the players that come through in the big moments that live forever in our memories. Some players, for whatever reason, were never able to do it consistently. Some players were truly outstanding at it.
Yeah, like these players nowadays, to me, it seems like they play good to get that big contract. But then once they get that big contract, they good. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even really. I'm not saying all players like LeBron. I want like players like LeBron, Steph Curry. Nah, they trying to win. You know what I'm saying? They trying to play all the time. They trying to win. They still, earning their money. But a lot of these superstars, I ain't gonna say no names, but you already know. Like it's like they're just playing. They'll play good to get that contract, but once they get that contract, man, they over there at the strip club. They over there tricking off their money with this girl. They over there, you know what I'm saying, just wilding out. So it's different, man. I hate to say it, maybe they make too much money. I don't know.
Larry Bird was the best at it.
Baseline throws it up and Larry Bird did it again. He did it again. Oh my goodness. He did it again.
I'm not going to give you the stats about his field goal shooting under 2 minutes with a score that's this close, or tell you who has the most buzzer beaters, or any of that.
Take that for data.
I'm just going to show you clutch moments in clutch situations. 1985 against the Blazers. Bird drops 48 points, including this. Down 1 with 2 seconds left.
Inbound pass, the double team and Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it!
Clutch.
All right!
Clutch.
1985 against the Hawks.
Ice.
Bird
Ice
sets
cold.
the Celtics scoring record with 60 points with shots like these.
They open the right side. Bird the fall away. He drills it again.
You see that little
That's the
fake?
best shooting I've ever seen.
1986 against the Rockets. Not all of Bird's clutch moments were singular. The bigger the moment, the bigger his performance. In Game 6 of the 1986 NBA Finals, Bird clinches the championship with a triple-double in what he calls the best game he ever played.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Bird wants a 3 out of it.
1987 against the Washington Bullets. Bird hits one shot to tie it before it's waved off because of a timeout.
Damn.
Hits another shot to tie it up for real.
Crowd is standing up. It goes now to Bird. Bird goes up top.
Damn, that's clutch.
And then in double
That's
overtime,
clutch.
down one, he does this.
It's going to go to Bird. He's got a shot. Get it.
What?
And it's got it. A 3-point field goal. And that's
Damn.
over.
For 3 years, from 1986 to 1988, the
He hit
three-point
three
contest
clutch
knew
shots.
no other champion but Larry Bird.
He's still going to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
1987 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5.
with the
Tied
jacket
at 2
on,
games
too.
apiece against the Bad Boy Pistons, this enormous game would put the winner 1 game away from the NBA Finals. The Pistons are up 1 with seconds remaining. The ball goes out of bounds off the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas just needs to inbound the ball to win the game.
Couldn't do it. Man. Do you realize how clutch that is, man? Like, imagine a lot of guys would just give up. Imagine being like, you're down by 1 and the other team got the ball. You know what I'm saying? And it's only like a few seconds left on the clock. That's even more clutch than like the one when Jordan did that to Utah when he stole the ball. This is even more clutch because when Jordan did it, there was still enough time on the clock for the Jazz to come down and hit the game winner. But when Bird did it, man, it was no room for error. It was like he had to steal the ball at that moment. And he had to throw that pass to the DJ at that moment. And DJ had to go up, like everything had to be bang, 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 bang like that, or else they lost. So that's probably the most clutch play like ever. Like, for real, like ever.
What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass.
There are truly too many big games and big moments for me to go through without this ending up as a documentary. But that all leads me to this, what I really want to talk about. 1987, NBA Finals, Game 4 against the Lakers. LA is up 2-1, and the Celtics need to win to tie the series and stay alive. Bird hits a 3 with 12 seconds left to go up by 2.
Bird goes for 3.
Can't leave that man open.
Kareem comes down and gets fouled with 8 seconds left. He makes the first, but misses the second. LA ends up with the ball with 7 seconds
Not
left,
clutch.
down 1 point.
In the low post, being guarded by Dennis Johnson. Byron Scott is in the ball game now.
Magic hits this, the baby skyhook.
Magic with a hook shot, scores with 2.
That was
2 seconds left.
that's classic.
Down 1.
Dennis Johnson on the inbound. Bird fires it.
What do you think happens? I bet it wasn't that. When I paused the tape and the ball was hanging in the air, you thought it was going in. Bird thought it was going in. Magic thought it was going in. I've seen this game before, and I still think it's going to go in. But it didn't. Pat Riley said it himself. We got lucky. And that, a missed shot in the NBA Finals, is why he's the clutchest. Because after he makes the big plays, has the big games, hits the big shots, time and time again, you expect him to hit every shot, to win every game. And in those fleeting moments when he doesn't, when he looks like a mere human, when he looks like everyone else who tries to do what he does, you just can't believe it. That's what Larry Bird did. He made the big plays so often you thought he was going to make them every time. He helped turn basketball into a global phenomenon, paving the way for every Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James who comes through our lives. He played basketball in its purest form and captained a team that is consistently ranked among the greatest of all time. He has the second highest win percentage in the history of the NBA, behind Magic by less than 0.5%, about 10 games. He was the complete package, a player with no holes in his game whatsoever. They called him Basketball Jesus. He didn't get that name without doing something extraordinary. He saved basketball. And he did it by playing it better than anyone else. Here's Magic at Bird's retirement in 1993.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird. To
30
the
years
greatest
later, that's
basketball
true.
player ever,
Right,
but
whatever.
more important, a friend forever.
Yep. And here we are in 2024.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun video to make.
Here we are in 2024, and that remains true. Never be another Larry Bird. I don't know. Probably never will. We'll see. Stay tuned. But man, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time, man. Peace.